Hi guys, today I'm going to be chatting about the worst things that I tried in 2020. I tried lots of makeup, not as much as I maybe normally would have tried, but I have 4 foundations that I hated. I have probably one of the worst, stupidest things I've ever tried in my life. That being said, if you like any of this, more for you. I won't be pushing you out of line to purchase it. These are all just my opinion. Some of it is just like scent preference, texture preference, shade preference. Other things I just think are not effective or as they claimed. I've got something in here that's just frustrating. But if you're looking for something a little more uplifting, perhaps, although I consider this to be uplifting because I'm helping you save money, potentially, I will have a Best in Beauty coming, best foundations, best skincare, all that good stuff. And I did film a tutorial for this look, linked down below, but let's go ahead and get started. So out of all of these products, this is the worst one. I'm gonna start with the worst. And this, although I'm kind of contradicting what I said, I don't think anybody should buy this. And I knew buying this that it was gonna be a mistake. I did it anyways. Why? Why did I do this? If you have good skin, and you want it to look negligibly better, this is for you. Like, I don't understand it. It's the Becca Zero foundation. I got the lip gloss and highlighter too. It doesn't do anything. I knew it wouldn't. I knew it was just gonna be like silicone in a jar. My like acne prone, uneven textured skin, I was like, let me put this clear gel on my skin. I'm sure it'll clear it up. I was gonna review it. I didn't even get around to it. They played us on that one. They got me. Fool me once, baby. Fool me once, not again. Okay, let's move on. Up next, I have a foundation that really kind of split people. I feel like people were either really into it, or it's not even that people didn't like it. We were all just kind of like confused. It was inconsistent. I don't know. I had high hopes too. This is the Bite Changemaker Supercharged Micellar foundation. I did do a full review on this, so I will link it down below. I think I kind of came out that review being like, I don't know. Like one day I liked it, one day I didn't like it. It was a really weird foundation. There's so many good foundations out there that I felt no incentive to try and understand how to make this guy tick. The other thing, and this has nothing to do with it being in this video, but it did annoy me that they called it the Supercharged Micellar foundation. From like a consumer perspective, I think it's a little bit confusing. Like I know when I mentioned this in my review, people were like, well, this is why they did it, and had like a big scientific explanation. Nobody like cares about that, you know what I mean? Like the average consumer sees micellar, myself included, and thinks of it as a micellar water. That's where your brain goes, right? So for me, it's confusing to have that attached to a foundation. Like, do I think that this is gonna wash my face? No. But it's just like, I don't know, a little bit more education there would have been appreciated. Because it's just not obvious. And on top of that, it doesn't make it sound any more appealing, you know? It's not like, I don't understand the association, but that sounds good. It's like, I don't get it, whatever. Anyways, that's enough about that one. Another foundation that I didn't like that I had actually planned to review, but then I was like, it's just no good. And you'll see in the close-up, it's so separated. This is the Pacifica Alight Clean Foundation. I did not have high hopes for this, so it lived up to my expectations, essentially. Not a great shade range, even worse shade range in store. I didn't like the formula. It didn't look good. It was greasy. It's like, when you hear about like clean makeup and all this kind of stuff, like I still need my products to be effective at the end of the day. This is kind of what you expect in terms of like a low efficacy, if that makes sense. Am I getting too into this? It just wasn't a good foundation. I'll skip over some of the other foundations. I have 2 products here that I specifically didn't really like because of the scent / taste. So it's not to say that either of these are bad, but they both had the same problem. So I have the Wet n Wild Sleeping Lip Mask. Now this is in lavender, and I don't mind certain lavender scents, but this one you could taste it for a long time, so I just couldn't wear it. And same with this Fresh Rose Petal Soft Lip Cream. I love Fresh's rose items, but this again was too much. I could taste it, you know, like it almost has this, I don't know, I'm not going to go into that because maybe that's a weird specific thing, but either way, the taste of these was just too much for me to even enjoy the product. This is like a little bit, it was kind of disappointing to me. It's kind of whatever, but I figured I would mention it in case you see it at Shoppers. I did not love it. It's from the brand OK, which is a Korean brand, and this is their Hydrating Serum Mist. It says it moisturizes and sets makeup. Now, I'm not necessarily doubting the moisturizing effects of it. It has hyaluronic acid in here, but my problem with it is it definitely does not set makeup. Like, it's just not that product. Like, I feel like everybody just puts something in a spray bottle and calls it a setting spray, and it's not. So it's like, this might help refresh your makeup, it might make it look more moisturized, but the thing is with this, my, I guess, kind of main problem is that the mister itself is not suitable for putting over makeup. Like, you use this on a freshly put together face, you're gonna have droplets everywhere, it's super harsh, it's super wet, so you could use it as like a skincare prep product or a serum kind of thing, like if you have it, because I'm sure like this actual solution is probably okay, but I would never go pick it up. I would just buy a serum or buy a setting spray, or there's other things like, for example, this from Wet n Wild, which is not going to have the same benefits, but you can kind of use it in 3 different ways to refresh your face, to kind of like put it on after makeup, whatever. This to me was just like a little disappointing. Now this I picked up from e.l.f. expecting to kind of hate it, and I did. It's the e.l.f. Putty Primer. Now they actually just launched a line of putty products. I'm still gonna buy it and test it out. I mean, who knows? And they also launched a CC cream, which I have not been able to get my hands on yet because it doesn't ship to Canada. I filled up my cart and they were like, it doesn't ship to Canada. I'm assuming it's some kind of like SPF law, that would be my guess. But anyways, this is the e.l.f. Putty Primer. The reason I was intrigued to pick this up was because it came in a bunch of different shades, which I think is amazing. You always see eyeshadow primers that are either clear or like a light cream color, but this looked like it would be essentially my skin tone, which I really appreciate, and that's why I often reach for concealers for my eyeshadow primer. Problem being that this had the exact texture that I expected it to have, and it's already started to dry out. It's pulling away from the packaging, and it was like chalky and chunky, so there's no way it would have been an effective eyeshadow primer. It was too dry. It had almost like that mousse, like you know, that moussey foundation consistency, but harder. It was just not great. That was a little bit disappointing, but at least it was not expensive. Now the last 2 foundations that I want to mention, this one, I didn't hate it. I think I gave it an okay review, but I have not reached for it. I did not love it. It's definitely not the type of coverage that I like to wear right now anyways. This is the Beauty Bakery Instabake Aqua Glass Foundation. On top of that, for my fellow Canadians, it's hard to get your hands on. I think I picked this up in the US. Yeah, I bought this in Buffalo, I think. I think that was how I was able to get my hands on it. It's just kind of hard to get your hands on. It wasn't great, it wasn't bad, I'm not that into it. And then this one I also kind of feel a little bit indifferent on. It's whatever, definitely would not repurchase. I don't recommend it, but it's not horrific. It's the Rare Beauty Foundation. I actually didn't mind this. I definitely did not like the concealer, however, and I would say this is probably more of a personal preference thing, because I do not like lighter coverage, glowy, radiant, whatever concealers. They just make my under eyes look like trash. I'm pretty much always going for like medium to high matte concealer if I'm wearing any concealer at all. Medium radiant concealers are just like, they just never look good on me, and these definitely did not. The last 2 things really grind my gears. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. From Benefit. New shade, they say, Georgia Peach. As if Benefit doesn't have enough peachy gold blushes to drown a nation. Oh my god, we don't need any more. They made strides by adding the deeper bronzers, but then over the holidays didn't put the deep bronzers within the holiday kits. They have barely, I think there's 1 or 2 Benefit blushes that I can use. So you created a couple more foundation shades, deeper bronzer shades, but there's still not 1 blush to go out. And it's not like they have 2 blushes and they're not launching any more. Like, they're consistently launching more blushes. We have California, Dallas, this, the one with the sun on it. Endless of like almost exactly the same shade that that not that many people can wear. Like, even if you're tanned, this is only going to show up as like a blush topper. So it's not even that this, like, I'm going to hand this on to a friend. I think I used it once or twice and to get ready with me. There's nothing wrong with the actual formula, but just like its existence is disappointing to me, because that could have been a different blush. You know what I mean? And then lastly, let me just go to town here. Lastly, this is just a personal preference peeve. This is from a NARS, I guess, limited edition collection that they came out with, their Paradise Found bronzer. Now this is my problem with it, is that it has overspray. Overspray is old school in my opinion. You can see this gold that goes over it that disappears with like a couple of uses, right? So here's the problem. If you are not super sure what you're buying, you might buy this and think it's a highlighter that's gold. Or you might see it without the overspray and think it's a bronzer and then take it home and it's gold. If you end up enjoying the sparkles, they don't last for very long. If you don't enjoy the sparkles, you've got to work your way through it and they're going to remain for a long time. So who wins? Who is this for? You know, obviously some people aren't going to mind that. To me, it's just unnecessary. There's a time and a place. This is not it. It's inconvenient. It's stupid. Like, I just think like consumers are smart and makeup needs to catch up to that. We are smart now. We know better. We're making different decisions. I mean, am I still buying silly things? Yes, but that to me is just like annoying, and it's the kind of decision that I feel like is made, it's made like very top level, you know, like anybody using makeup for the most part is going to be annoyed by that kind of thing. Maybe that's too general of a statement. Maybe you love, I mean, it's pretty, it's glitter, I don't know, but that's definitely a pet peeve of mine. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to let me know down below which product you hated the most in 2020. Did you hate any of these? Did you love any of these? I'd love to know. And as always, if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at SamanthaJaneYT, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!